I hope you have a great class this morning, and I'm just really glad to have you join us. Thank you. Good morning. Debbie, great to see you. I'm handing it to you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Clayton. And I also always want to be thankful for the Quincy Public Library for allowing me to be able to continue this program on falls prevention and stress management. So today I want to talk about the topic, the science, the practice, the way of viewing life, and that's gratitude. I'm going to start my slide share, but before I go into the main topic, I also like to cover the whatever awareness week or day is happening this particular at that particular time. So let me just see here, share my screen. Okay. All right. So this program is the falls prevention and stress management for aging adults. And as Clayton had said, we're falling into this category, which is a good thing because that is a part of life. It's aging and it's us just trying to do our best, whatever is going on in life. All right, so let me just admit this person is joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just starting and this is perfect timing. All right, so again, always consult with your doctor if you have, or if you think there should be any changes with your medical conditions. Always, always, always consult with your doctors with anything that has to do with your procedure or any type of medical treatments. All right, so let's see here. GERD, this today kicks off, so November 17th through November 23rd, kicks off the GERD National Awareness Week. And for those of you who understand or know what GERD is, it may mean that you know somebody who has it or you probably have it. So GERD stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease. For the most part, it is similar or it is like heartburn. And a lot of people do experience heartburn from time to time. What distinguishes people who have heartburn from time to time from those who suffer from it more than 2 times a week is the diagnosis. So if you suffer from the heartburn or fluid, acidy fluid, bitter tasting fluid that flows back up into your mouth frequently, if you feel like you have sensations of just sticking in your stomach, you're not digesting it, or just really this fullness or heaviness in your abdomen, your stomach, it could mean that you might have GERD-like symptoms or you might have GERD. So those are some things to take note of, and also to make sure that you let your physician know, because then they'll be able to recommend measures to help alleviate the symptoms and take care of that so you don't have to suffer from it. As mentioned, a lot of people do suffer from heartburn from time to time, but GERD affects about 20% of the population. I myself don't have GERD, but people in my family do. So for me, I know from time to time, depending on what I eat or the type of stress that I've been suffering from and the amount of food that I eat, sometimes I do have that acidity reflux. So it doesn't mean I have the diagnosis. It just means that, you know, there are acute circumstances. It could be the amount of food that I ate or the kind of food that I ate, or maybe or the amount of stress that I've been under could be the factors that had made me feel that way. So GERD, again, is almost like heartburn. And once again, seek medical treatments if you do feel like you have it, okay? So there are some non-medicinal, non-medication treatments that you could do to help alleviate any of these symptoms before being diagnosed or even after being diagnosed, okay? It could be as simple as diet change. Okay, it might be a little bit tricky, especially during the holidays when a lot of baking, a lot of delicious food, desserts, entrees, appetizers are being served. it could be a little bit tricky trying to have that self-regulation or self-discipline to not eat as much, but just keep a mental note on how much you eat, what ingredients are in the food that could be making you feel either good or not good. That's just as simple as I can make it for you. And if you are really determined to try to figure out what type of food and the amount of food and the time of the day you eat the food affects your body, it's recommended to keep a diet diary, like a food diary. So that way you're really being aware of what goes into your body and what that particular food or drink does to your body. So it's not just food, it could be coffee or tea or something alcoholic or something like maybe soda. So taking note of what you eat is very, very important. Also, it's recommended that people eat small meals. So that way your stomach has a chance to digest what's there and also be able to empty it out appropriately. So that way there's no backup. Again, it's been recommended by the healthcare industry to avoid fatty food if you can, spicy food, alcohol, avoiding meals before bedtime, and also, if you can, reduce stress. All of these are just, common sense type factors that we could do, right? But it's sometimes depending on what's going on in life. Right now, everybody is going through so much uncertainty with what's going on with the pandemic and also the flu season. And, there's just so many different factors that can contribute to our stress level. And that's why I wanted to add stress management into this program, because I feel like it goes hand in hand with injuries and preventing unintentional accidents. So if we have so much going on in our head and we're very stressed, we tend to be mindless or just don't care. And that can lead to different factors that can lead to maybe harm to yourself or others. And, the more we can kind of keep everybody, including yourself, safe, the better. And one of the ways we could do that is reducing our stress and being more centered and grounded and feeling more in control, especially during times when we lack the control. All right, so let me just see here. It looks like, I thought somebody wanted to, looks like somebody wants to join, okay. All right, so let's see here. Let me advance the slide. All right, so I will, just like with the other programs, I begin my program with a slide presentation, and then I'll come off of the slide presentation and I'll put myself on the gallery mode so that way we could practice some skills. All right, so I want to switch over to the topic of gratitude, which is a topic that I really, really sincerely love. It's been a big game changer for me since I've been practicing and learning about the practice of gratitude. There's that old quote by Cicero that gratitude is the mother of all virtues, right? It's true, and also it's a science, it's a practice. And also, for those of you who want to dabble in the practice of mindfulness, gratitude is actually an approach, a way for you to kind of dip your toes so that you could start practicing mindfulness in an informal way. So as far as gratitude, the science of gratitude is concerned, this is a picture of Robert Emmons, and he's considered the father of gratitude. He and many other researchers, especially him though, he's been studying about the benefits, the science of gratitude since the mid to late 1990s, and they have been getting so many different and wonderful research results on the practice of gratitude. And here are just, right next to his picture, are just 3 books. He's published a lot of different research, but these are some books that he has published. I have the first one and the second one. I highly recommend that. So if you have a time to borrow that from the library, it's a wonderful way to learn more about the practical uses of gratitude, and also the benefits, and also the science. So Robert Emmons defines gratitude as a felt sense of wonder, thankfulness, and appreciation for life. So basically, gratitude is more than just saying thanks. It is really being in that particular moment when you are in the state of gratitude. You are feeling this sense of wonderment. It's like an awe. And in that same instance, you're also having this sense of thankfulness that you were there to witness it, and also appreciation of whatever it is. For example, seeing a beautiful, beautiful sunset or sunrise, and you were there to witness it, and having that sense of connection with what you're seeing, the colors, how it makes you feel, and being connected with what's going on in the universe and life, and feeling thankful that you were there to witness it. That is a practice of gratitude that has an element of mindfulness in it. So in that particular moment, you didn't really have to buy anything, and nobody gave you anything. You were there to witness this beautiful scene of display of colors that nature has for us every day, right? So again, gratitude has that way of really touching us in the heart. It's a heartfelt type of emotion and feeling that people have when they practice it. And studies have shown that when you can kind of put yourself in that state of gratitude in micro moments during a day, or even just one or two, or just a few times during a day, but regularly, it can really make a difference in your health and well-being, and also your longevity. All right, so there's been many research on the practice of gratitude, and a lot of them are basically, it has to do with the health and well-being and longevity. But just to kind of make it a little bit more specific, there have been studies that shown that when people practice gratitude, the people who are more grateful than others, they have fewer health problems. Okay, so it can make you healthier. And also they've found in studies that when people practice gratitude, they tend to exercise 1.5 hours more per week. Okay, so it does help you, it motivates you. Not only does it help with your health and well-being, and also a nice motivator with exercise, it's also an energetic booster. It's an energy booster. It's a happiness booster. Okay, it can really get you from a state of feeling like down in the dumps and up, and make you feel uplifted. Gratitude can make you feel stronger. It can help you sleep better. Those of you who during these times, sometimes stress can keep people from having a good night's sleep or falling asleep easily. So practicing gratitude before bedtime is a wonderful way to kind of help you ease into sleep, because what you're doing there is you are ending the day on a positive note instead of a note of worry or anxiety or fear. So practicing gratitude in the evening, especially before you go to bed, is a wonderful way to kind of help you ease into better sleep. Once again, gratitude can help people become happier. It can make people more optimistic and also determined. Here on the slide here are just more infograph. So they have found also, this is from the John Templeton Foundation. So people who practice gratitude are more generous. They're more charitable. Okay, they tend to give more money than the average person. People who are grateful tend to bond. They have closer and deeper relationship with others and also their community. Okay. And also people who practice gratitude, who are typically grateful, they tend to make a little bit more money than others. Okay. These are research. For children, they have found that when children practice gratitude, it helps cancel envy. So there's fewer fights. Okay. So, and children who practice gratitude tend to get better grades. Also, they have found with teenagers, when they start learning or practice gratitude more, they reduce their risky behavior. They tend to have healthier choices. So that's a really great thing for parents out there of teenagers. Practicing 1 or 2 skills of gratitude really can be a game changer. And I'll give you an example of that in a few minutes. Also, they have found people who practice gratitude actually can live longer. They have less stress. They are less sick, and they have a deeper and more satisfying relationship. And overall, when people practice gratitude, it can help with resilience. And this is a wonderful quote by Robert Emmons. And he says, in the face of demoralization, gratitude has the power to energize. In the face of brokenness, gratitude has the power to heal. In the face of despair, gratitude has the power to bring hope. In other words, gratitude can help us cope with hard times. So right now, in the way that we've been living in the past few months, and also as we ease into the holiday season, next week is Thanksgiving, and the month after that is more celebration. Lots of traditions, lots of ways to help people, families and friends gather. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, this year it's going to be different. It's going to be different. And one of the things I've been thinking about is trying to find ways to practice the holidays, enjoy the holidays in a way that is still doable, and still promote and also, promote and enhance the feeling state of what the season's all about, which is love, connection, gathering, celebration, and appreciation. So just thinking about ways that you could do that is going to be a great thing. And I suggest practicing gratitude is, to practice the science of gratitude, the skill of gratitude, to help you during these times. All right, so here are some skills that's been very beneficial for me, and also through many people who have practiced this. And these are research proven skills that's been very helpful. So skills of gratitude is writing a gratitude journal. Okay, so if you have a notebook or a piece of paper, pen, before you go to bed, write down 3 things that you're grateful for that day. And as you list down what you're grateful for, with each one, write down why you're grateful for that particular item or person or event that you stated that you added in your gratitude journal. So writing down what it is you're grateful for and why is actually a great way for you to really savor that particular moment. It will help you feel much better. Okay, so if you could practice that for maybe a month, see how it goes. And if you want to continue doing it longer, keep doing it longer. The more you create a stronger gratitude muscles, a practice of gratitude in your life, the better it will be for your health and well-being. So a gratitude journal, that's a great way to do it. Again, getting a journal or a piece of a notebook and writing down every night 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for and why. Okay. And also, one of the ways that I found was very beneficial when I started doing a gratitude journal is if you could put your gratitude journal on top of your pillow. and having a pen right there. So that way, when you're about to go to bed, it's already waiting for you. You're not looking for it and then get distracted and then forget to do it. So I suggest, if you do want to practice and try doing a gratitude journal, do it in the evening, because studies have shown that when it's done in the evening, you tend to sleep better. But put the notebook on top of your pillow with a pen. So that way it's there waiting for you, almost like a good friend asking you what went well today, and just write it down. Okay. Another practice that's been shown to really benefit and boost the happiness level of many people is a gratitude journal. Gratitude journal is gratitude letter is you write a letter, and the letter is what you're writing on the letter is basically about a person who made a big difference in your life. So think about a person. Okay, you can write multiple letters, but in one letter, think about a person who made such a big difference in your life. And this person, because of the impact that they made and their relationship with you, helped you become a better person, a person that you are today. So think about that particular person and just write down as much as you can what that person did for you and how that, whatever it is, that relationship or the advice, whatever it is, their presence, how it meant to you, and write it down. And then what you do in the research where they did this particular practice, the gratitude letter, what they did was they had the people write down what that person meant to them. And what they did was they delivered in person the letter. And then when they connected with that particular individual, they read the letter that they wrote to that individual. And this particular gratitude practice was shown to really enhance the level of health and well-being and happiness for many, many months. And it helped not only the person who was receiving and hearing the letter, but also it helped the person who was writing the letter. It really deepened their connection and their relationship. And it was really, it's a practice that I highly recommend. And you're probably saying, okay, that's good, but there's this thing called social distancing going on right now. And, how can we do that? Or if this person lives far away, or if this person has already passed. Okay, so for people who live far away, you could still write the letter, but you could connect with them via Zoom, or if you have an iPhone, a FaceTime, or if you have Facebook, the Messenger. So there are different ways that you could still connect with people despite social distancing and still be able to create that same impact. The name of the game here is writing down everything, all the goodness, the benefits that you received as a result of that person being in your life, writing it down and savoring it so you're benefiting from it as you're writing it down, you connecting with that particular individual and reading the letter to that individual. And in the way, that letter is a beautiful, priceless gift that you can give to that person. So then afterwards, notice how you feel after you read, after you were transparent, after you were vulnerable and being courageous in reading that letter to that individual. And also notice how that individual, felt. Okay, so it's a wonderful practice to do, and it's really no cost. Okay, again, you can connect with them remotely. You don't have to do it in person. And for those who want to write about somebody that has already passed, you could still write your letter, and you could still, you could write the letter, read it out loud. You could light a candle if you want and imagine that person being there and just read it to that person. And just trust that the energy of that person or the memory of that person will still be able to benefit from the letter that you write. Okay. All right. So moving down to number 3, what went well? This is a wonderful question to ask people to help them think about what good thing happened to them that day. Okay, and it's a simple question, but it's been a game changer for me and also my family and also the people who I've taught this simple question to in my programs. So what went well is a gratitude practice, but instead of asking people, okay, give, what are you grateful for today? Or, what good things, what blessings happened to you today? For some people, they might say, what are you talking about? Don't you think, there's a lot of bad things going on in the world. Nothing good has happened. But if you could ask them this question, there's an essence where they really think about, okay, what did kind of go well today? Okay. So the what went well is a nice way to kind of start introducing the gratitude practice around you, people that you work with, people that you live with, people that you're friends with. This simple question will help them think about, okay, what did go well today? It doesn't have to be a blessing. It doesn't have to be something you're grateful for. Maybe it is, but it's a way for them to really think about, okay, what little good things did happen today? Was it like there was no traffic? Or was the Wi-Fi working? Or is there electricity? Is the sun out? Or did somebody buy you a cup of coffee? What did go well today? And I also like to say that this particular question works really well if you know somebody who is a complainer. When you know somebody who's a big time complainer and their habit is just to really dump all their complaints on you, a good way to say when you first see them, instead of saying, hey, how are you? Because they're waiting for you to say, how are you? And then they'll start with all the complaints, everything that went wrong. But if you say, hey, what went well today? That's a different way for them to kind of answer you, and it'll help them pause and think about the good things that did happen to them. Not the complaints, but the good that happened to them that day. So that's a little tip for those of you who have complainers in your life. A gratitude jar is another practice, especially if you live in we live with other people. Practicing this, it's a simple practice where you have this big jar and you can take a little scrappy piece of paper and just write down what they're grateful for that particular day and putting it in the jar. And a nice way to do this is just, including if you have little kids around, or if you have people who, friends and family who stop by to visit, have them add something in the gratitude jar. And then maybe after a month or so, you can dip into that jar, especially during the days when you're not feeling so good, feeling lonely, just really overly stressed. Pick one or two from the gratitude jar to help really boost your spirits. Another practice is volunteering. Volunteering. When people practice gratitude, they feel so full and abundant. They feel like they have more than enough and they're overflowing. And they tend to want to offer their time. They tend to want to do kind deeds. And that's a wonderful thing, because especially for people they've done studies, when people do kind deeds, especially when they are feeling low and depressed, it makes them feel a little bit better. And the more they do it, the more it really makes them feel better and better. Because when you're depressed, you just kind of ruminate. You just think about the same thing over and over again. You kind of hyper-focus in on that particular thing that's making you feel really depressed. When you practice kindness, and just like gratitude, kindness is actually also a science that's been shown to really boost people's health and well-being. So when people practice gratitude or they volunteer, they think about others. And when you do that, you stop thinking about your feelings of depression, sadness. So the more you are able to do other things for other people, it doesn't have to be big, it could be something small, the more it's going to help stop the rumination of the sadness and depression that you're going through. Okay, so just something to think about. And this volunteering, again, with social distancing, that can be a bit of a challenge. What are some ideas? Well, what you could do is if you could text somebody and say, hey, how are you doing? Or you could text somebody and, or email somebody and send them like a funny video clip of something. Or just do something that you think that particular person's going to like. You could either, buy a package of cookies and just drop it off at their place. Something simple, it doesn't have to be big, that's going to allow you to stop thinking about your sadness and depression and help you think about others. That's a wonderful way to boost the spirits, especially this time of the year. Okay, smiling is another gratitude practice. Why is that a gratitude practice? Well, when you smile, even if you don't feel like smiling, it's a body-mind technique. It's a body-mind technique because what it does is when you're smiling, the body thinks, oh, this human being, this person is smiling, it must be happy. So when that happens, it tricks the brain and you start feeling these feel-good hormones. So smiling is really good. And also it's a gift that you can give to others because again, there's just so many things going on in the world right now and not too many people are smiling. So if you can gift the gift of smile, even though you have a mask, people can still see that you're smiling because of the little squint in the eyes. Okay. So if you smile even behind the mask, it'll still be recognized and seen. So that's a beautiful gift that you can give to others. Also, gratitude, when you think of another practice of gratitude is thinking about someone you appreciate. Okay, so it kind of ties in with the gratitude letter or the gratitude journal. So if you think of someone that you appreciate and you think about that particular person, and you think about all the different things that person, how that person makes you feel and how it makes you feel appreciated and special, and just kind of sit with all those different feelings. And what happens in our body is there's this physiological change that happens and it calms the body. It actually, when you practice gratitude, it activates the relaxation response in the body, the parasympathetic nervous system. So practicing gratitude in small different ways. It could be just smiling. It could be just texting somebody a hello, how you doing? Or like a funny meme, or just sitting back and thinking about a person that you really care about, that you just totally appreciate, and just kind of recollecting some past memories. That's enough to help you feel more relaxed and calm, less stressed. Right. So here what I'd like to do is, first I want to do some breathing exercise, okay? And after we do the breathing exercise, I want you to follow along. We're going to be doing the daily energy routine, okay? Why we're doing this is because I also, besides sharing some stress reduction tips, I still want to be able to do some exercises to help with our balance and our coordination and our strength. Okay, very important. And then what I will ask you to do is type in the chat something, and I'm going to leave you hanging so that way you don't hang up. All right, so first, let's do the breathing technique. And I have my little ball here. When I teach breathing exercises, I like to show a little bit of a visual, because this is what we look like when we are stressed, anxious, afraid, angry. We breathe fast and shallow. Fast and shallow. And sometimes a little faster than this. And sometimes we do this and not even know that we're doing it. Okay? And what's important to know is when we catch ourselves breathing fast like this, that we could mindfully take note, pause, and then take slow, deep breaths. Because when we take slow, deep breaths, it's going to help expand our lungs. It's going to help get more air and oxygen into our body. And it can help also activate the relaxation response. The power of the breath is it's just so important to remember, so that we could use it whenever we need to reduce our stress and feel calm. All right, so let's practice the 2-to-1 breathing exercise. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, we're going to hold the breath, and we're going to exhale out, okay? So I'm going to count I'm going to count to 3. And then what we'll do is we're going to begin. So breathe in through the nose. Hold. And out through the mouth. Okay, let me do a better job leading you through this exercise. So I'm going to count to 3. As I count to 3, you're going to breathe in through the nose. I'm going to count to 3 again. You're going to hold your breath for 3, and you're going to exhale out for 6. Okay, so let's begin. Breathe in through the nose for the count of 3. Hold for 3. Out for 6. Okay, let's do that a few more times, okay? And as we're doing this breathing exercise, notice how it's making you feel, okay? This is a mindfulness exercise, so it's good to take note of how the exercise is helping you feel. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it hard to do? Is it too much coordination? Just noticing what goes on in your mind and also your body, okay? So let's breathe in for 3. Hold. Out for 6. Okay. Again, let's repeat. Breathe in for 3. Hold. Out for 6. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in for 3. Hold. Out for 6. Good. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you like this exercise. Good. Thank you. Thank you. I see the thumbs up. Awesome. All right. So the next exercise I want to do and share with you is the daily energy routine. I just did a program for a group called BAMSI, and this wonderful group, what they do is they're in charge of housing for people with disabilities, and they've been so stressed. So I did a program for them last week. I'll be doing another program for them on self-care, and this is one of the techniques that I shared with them, and they really enjoyed it. So, and I'm not sure if you've participated in other programs of mine, but I like doing the daily energy routine to help people feel more balanced, coordinated. It helps with the brain function, so it helps with memory. It helps calm the body and the mind, and also helps us feel more confident and grounded and centered. And also it helps boost the immune system. So there's a lot of benefits to it. That's why I love doing it. So first we tap under the eye. Tap under the eye. You could do one side or 2 sides under the eye. And what this does is helps ground the persons. This is good, especially when you're feeling like you're overwhelmed or just very distracted and just, from one thing to the other, you don't feel like you're grounded. So imagine as you're tapping that you've got this line going through your body and it's anchoring right through your shoes through the earth into the center of the earth. Okay, so you're just grounding your body, strong in your body, solid in your body. Nice. Okay, tap, 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 tap. And then the next one is we're tapping on the collarbone, the collarbone. Okay, you might notice, for those of you who have studied the meridians, the Chinese medicine meridians, the acupressure meridians, that there's different energetic systems in our body. And what this particular exercise, the daily energy routine, does is it activates particular meridians in the body to help with balancing. So we're tapping right on the collarbone, or you could rub if you like. I like tapping. I've been doing this exercise since I was in college. I love doing this. And you breathe. Breathe. All right. And then right here on the breastbone, on the sternum, okay, I'm going to stand up a little bit so you can see. Right on the sternum, you're tapping there. Okay. Oh, by the way, the tapping that we just did under the collarbone, that helps with energy. It helps with the energy go and run the correct direction. Stress can make our energy run in many different directions, frazzled. So tapping underneath the collarbone that we just did before this one helps move the energy in the right direction. And also it helps bring energy up to the brain. So this particular point here that we're tapping, it's almost like the Tarzan point. Woo-hoo, right? It helps with confidence, it helps with energy, and also helps activate the immune system because the thymus gland is underneath that. And during these days, we need to have really strong immune system. Okay, and then the next one here is right on the seam line of your shirt, right here underneath the armpit in a way, on the ribs, you're tapping on the side. And that helps with metabolism. Helps with metabolism. It's metabolizing anything that you put into your body and your mind. So if you ate too much, remember how I was talking about GERD, the gastroesophageal reflux. All right, so this is good to kind of do that, to help with that. I taught a group of other people this exercise, and one of the people who participated said when she would eat too much and she feels bloated, she would tap on this and it would help with her digestion. So this is good for metabolizing food, drinks, or even thoughts that just keeps getting stuck in there and making you feel more sad and upset and stressed. Okay, so that's on the side there. And then the next one is what you're going to do is you're putting your one hand on the opposite shoulder and you're just going to go across your body. Okay, you're going across your body, across your body. And if you can, you can do it with the other side. If you can't, just imagine that particular hand doing it. Okay, so just imagining it, imagining it, imagining it. There you go. Good. Okay, and this is good for coordination because when our brain has different lobes, right? And sometimes we tend to be more dominant on one side, like right-handed. We tend to use one side a little bit more than the other. And the other side becomes weak. So it's good to be able to have one side of the body cross the middle section of the body, so that way it purposefully allows or integrates with the other side of the brain. Okay, so every time you are kind of going across the middle part of the body, the better it is. So what we're going to do here is you could, just stay in your seat, but I'm going to ask you to use your right hand and tap it on your left knee. Okay, so we'll be alternating. This is good for coordination and balance. Good job. All right, good, good, good. All right. And then the next thing that we'll do is we don't have time to do the rest of that routine, but what I've given you are just some ways for you to get started with it. And what we're going to do now is imagine there's a big giant zipper in front of us, because we've just basically spent a few minutes balancing and harmonizing the energy of our body. So we want to keep that in our body. We don't want to leak out the energy, the balanced energy, and we certainly don't want to absorb other people's energy as well. Okay, so we want to keep the energy that we just kind of spent the time to take care of into ourselves. So that way it uses, our body is able to use that appropriately to make us feel stronger, happier, more grounded. It's just more centered and in control. So imagining this is a big giant zipper, and you're going to start at the pubic bone, okay, where basically your zipper would start. Just imagining there's a big giant zipper, and you're just going to zip it up to the lower part of your lip. So just closing it up like this. Okay, so you're just running your hand across the middle part of your body. That's it. And then you're just going to, underneath your lower lip, you're just going to imagine there's a lock there. You're going to turn it and throw it away. So this is an imaginary way of you just kind of sealing in the healthy and balanced energy in your body. Very good. All right. Very, very good. All right. So that is the daily energy routine. All right. So we have a few more minutes. What I want to ask, if you can, and if you can type it on the chat, I want to ask you to, if you can, share one thing that's gone well so far for you today. What's the one thing that's gone well so far for you today? If you can type it, or if you want to unmute yourself, that's okay too. You don't have to type it. You can just unmute yourself and just share it. Don't be shy. One of the wonderful things about gratitude is when my mother was going through her cancer journey, and she would have a good night's sleep, and she would suffer from time to time from bone pain. So she would in the morning like just say her gratitude that she was grateful that she had a good night's sleep, or when her hair was growing because she lost her hair, and how she was grateful that every day that she could notice the hair growing a little bit at a time and she was able to feel it. So there's different ways to practice gratitude. It doesn't have to be buying something tangible for somebody. Again, it could be as simple as being grateful for the sunrise or the sunset, or connecting with people like you here on Zoom, or having wonderful friends who's there when you ask them to be there and they're there. Let's see. So Dan said he's grateful to be in his condo and feeling good. Yeah, I'm grateful for that too. Thank you, Dan. Dan's a good friend of mine. So thank you, Dan, for being here today. Grateful for you. All right. So I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you, Dan. And again, thank you to Quincy Public Library. Clayton, thank you so much for allowing me to do these programs. Bye-bye.